You're listening to the best of the Morning X.
You can also catch it on the Morning X podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Or at 99x.com.
Melissa Gilbert.
How are you?
Good morning.
Hi there.
You're talking to a couple of guys who have followed you since the young days. And Leslie, did you
now,
watch?
which are the old days?
Yes, you're our favorite little Ingalls.
How old are you now? Can I ask you that? Is that
428.
No, are you even in your 30s?
God love you. I'm 36 years old.
You're 36?
36?
I'm 36. I'll be 37 in May.
You still have that voice of like a very young girl.
I know people call my house and I answer the phone and they go, "Is your mom there?"
Exactly.
I am Mom.
Yeah.
Well, you have a couple of kids, 2 kids?
I have 4.
4.
I have 2 sons and 2 stepsons.
You started pretty early, though. How old were you when you had your first child?
I was 24.
24. All right, so that's mid-range,
average, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Mid-range.
That's actually, depending upon where you come from, that's pretty average.
Could you get right up into the phone, Melissa, so we could hear you?
Is this better?
There, that's
Yeah, a little
better.
Okay.
And how old were you when you first got married?
23.
23. Was that too young for you, do you think?
Oh, gee, then I would be speculating about why that marriage didn't work, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, don't look back.
It's funny because when I talk to people who are not married anymore to their first husbands or wives, and you ask, how old are you? And they say 22, 23. The answer usually is, I was too young. It's too young.
Melissa,
I don't know.
we were just talking about your voice there. Is it true you're doing the voice of Monica Lewinsky on something?
I did. Joe Esterhaus wrote a book called American Rhapsody, and they did the book on tape, and I did the voice of Monica Lewinsky.
Give us a little Monica.
Oh my God, I totally can't really remember, or something like this, I think.
Yeah, she does have. She's got the valley sound.
Remember.
No doubt.
Sort of.
Yeah.
She's got the valley sound. Do you ever catch reruns of Little House? Because doesn't it run on either like PAX TV or one of those?
It's on 3 times a day all over the world. Still, it's crazy. Sometimes I'll be flipping by and I'll stop and stare for a while.
Do the kids like it?
Then my kids don't like it at all.
They
it's
don't?
a girl show. It's a girly show.
No, but seeing Mom, how old were you then? Were you 10? Well,
I was 9 when it started, and then I was 19 when it ended.
Wow.
so it must be weird, though, to flip around and just see yourself as 10 and just kind of go, I remember those good old days.
Well, for me, it's like watching home movies. I watch it, and I think about what was going on in my life at that time, and then every once in a while I'll see a really good scene, and I'll think, God, she's good, and then I have to stop myself and go, wait, that's you when you were a child.
Wasn't your brother on there, too?
He was. He played Nellie's brother, Willie.
Right.
My brother, Jonathan.
And then after the show, because you grew up for 10 years, you were the girl next door, you were the sweet girl, and then did you go through a period where you made a conscious decision that you wanted to shake the good girl image, or did you want to embrace it even more?
You know what? It wasn't so much shaking the good girl image as I tried really hard to prove to people that I was an adult. And then it reached a point where it's inevitable. You become an adult. Mm-hmm. And I was later on an adult, and I never had to prove anything.
Was there ever a role you took that maybe thought would shake that Little House on the Prairie thing out? The good girl image?
Like let's say a role where there was like a lot of sex in it.
No, actually. I did a movie when I was in my early 20s called Blood Vows, the story of a mafia wife. How's that for a title?
Not bad.
And that was, there was a lot of love scenes, and as my youngest son, Michael, who's 5, puts it, lots of grown-up kisses.
Grown-up kisses.
Uh-huh.
A lot of licks.
Well, I don't know about that.
Have you ever done nudity in anything?
No, good Lord, no.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen everything you've ever done.
There's a flash of something in the only feature film I ever did, in a scene that's actually an attempted rape, where my shirt opened for a second, and those internet creeps, they freeze frame and turn it into a photo, and
right.
You see Melissa Gilbert's breast. Really stupid.
You're at a point now. But aren't you at a point now? We're going to talk about your new movie, your new TV movie, Sanctuary. But aren't you at a point now where you can kind of just pick and choose your roles?
More or less. As far as movies of the week go, yes. I am.
So how often do you want to work?
I don't. I've reached a point in my life now where I want to make the most money in the least amount of time.
I've reached that point, too.
Yeah.
I want to be with my family. I don't want to be...
It's called Barnesology. It's a science.
I want to be home. You know, I'm happiest when I'm surrounded by my kids and my husband and my animals and my world at home. So, I mean, I am contemplating doing another series. There's nothing specific in mind, but it is pilot season, and I am looking because I want to stay home. I don't want to travel anymore to work. But this movie of the week schedule is pretty great. I mean, it's 5 weeks and I'm done.
So this movie of the week, Sanctuary, this is a murder mystery.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Type thing.
It's kind of, it got some romance, got some mystery, some murder, some stalking, some sex, some fun. I play a woman named Jo Ellen Hathaway, who's very she's different from a lot of people I play. She's very introverted. She's very, she's afraid to commit. She's afraid to get involved. She has a very messed up family, and she's being stalked relentlessly. She decides to go home to try and find some answers about why she's the way she is, and she's also had a bit of a nervous breakdown.
Have you ever had a stalking problem?
I wouldn't call it a problem. I would call it more of an issue, especially as a kid. And that's when it's dangerous. When the whole idea of kidnapping applies.
Were people just showing up? Or you getting weird letters, or were you getting?
I never had anyone show up. It was always strange letters.
I would imagine because when you were on Little House, I mean, that was kind of before the, who was the actress, Rebecca Schaefer, that was like the first real high-profile, terrible situation. And I'm guessing that maybe in retrospect you look back and think, well, maybe there were things that I shouldn't have done or did that weren't as safe, that we didn't. I
don't think so, but I will tell you this. It's a weird situation where you're invited into these people's living rooms on a weekly basis, and in the beginning of an hour you have what seems to be an insurmountable problem, and then at the end of the hour you fixed it. People think that you're capable of doing this in life, which is, totally false, but they get caught up in the fantasy.
Melissa Gilbert, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
You're listening to the best of the Morning X.
You can also catch it on the Morning X podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Or at 99x.com.